I used to have an intro in most of my podcasts, but do people really listen to them anyway? Do you just skip through them? What do you think? Anyway, I just thought I'd jump right into it. On today's podcast, I'm talking to my friend Mike, and Mike is super inspiring. He has a goal of becoming Mr. Olympia, and he's already lost over 150 pounds. This guy's story is incredible, and I definitely relate to it with my own journey. We've done a lot of similar things to reach our goals, and of course, it's all about changing the mindset, finding that why, getting the willpower, and, all the stuff I usually talk about. And if you haven't heard, I just launched my free course. It's only 20 minutes long. It's called The Foundations of Weight Loss, 8 Steps to Lifelong Change. All BS aside, these 8 steps are literally how I lost 115 pounds and changed my life in all aspects. And quite honestly, I can guarantee if you truly do follow all of these 8 steps and are consistent with them, you can make a lifelong change. So check out the link in the description if you're interested. I also have my group membership coaching starting at $9.99 a month. And of course, I have my one-on-one coaching packages. So if you want to have a discussion free of charge to see if they're right for you, we can chat, see if we're a fit, and go from there. Remember that anything is possible. You can do anything you set your mind to, and you are unstoppable. Hope you enjoy this podcast with Mike. All right, so today on the podcast, we have Mike, or is it Michelle?
It's Mike.
It's Mike, okay. And I met Mike through a friend of mine, Ricky, who I actually live with his girlfriend. And I haven't even known Mike for very long, but he has quite the inspiring journey. Mike has lost over 150 pounds and counting, and he has some pretty amazing goals, which we're going to talk about today. But what intrigued me about Mike is his determination, his willpower, and also his story mimics my own weight loss journey. For those who don't know, I lost over 100 pounds, totaling 115 pounds, beginning in 2017. And, my journey is never ending. And part of that journey is my conversation today with Mike. So we're going to learn a little bit about him. So Mike, welcome to the show, and I'm glad to have you on. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, so let's just start from the beginning, if you're comfortable with that, just diving right into give us a little backstory on who was Mike before you reached that point where you decided to lose weight.
Mike was a very caring person, very heartfelt. Fell into a deep depression, starting to gain more weight, starting to have more mental illness from poor dieting, and just kind of like gave up on life almost. I was to a point that I was like almost giving up on myself and working dead-end jobs, fast food jobs that I just almost eat my emotions with food. And the weight started packing on and packing on. And I remember when I was in high school, I used to train quite a bit, play football and do boxing. I used to be in very good shape, but I find after high school is when the breaking point, when you're no longer surrounded by high school football, boxing, you kind of like lose the momentum, like the motivation to keep going. And I fell into a deep depression almost, and I couldn't stand it no more. And after several years of bad eating, and I just decided to make a change.
Yeah, and so were you experiencing those kind of problems most of your life, or at what point do you find they started or got worse?
I find I've probably been bullied most of my life and put down since grade 3, and that progressed from there to now. And I think the worst part was after high school is when everything's alone. You have to go out on your own and kind of do your own thing and trying to figure out what you want to do. And I think that's what kind of like put me to depression, started like smoking recreational marijuana and drinking alcohol. went through a alcohol poisoning stage, and I almost lost my life. So to me, that was a breaking point as well, to stop drinking. That was one of them that really like said, okay, I can't do this no more. I have to start being who I am, and kind of give up the alcohol, give up the fake persona, the fake, like the fake reality of actually not knowing who I really am.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you did when you decided to lose weight, is that when you also stopped using alcohol?
Yeah, when I
Okay.
started to lose weight, I stopped using alcohol. I was still a little bit smoking the recreational marijuana once in a while, but then I started to get to a
Yeah.
point that it was affecting me more and more because of the what the effects it causes you to eat and everything. So I said, just, I don't want none of it, none of it. So, and then that's why it could be less distractions and more motivation, more self-discipline to get to my goal without those distractions in my way.
Okay. So if I could sum everything up that you said thus far, most of your life you experienced some difficulties with, self-esteem, mental health due to like bullying and, life's events, and you kind of like gradually started getting more and more depressed and maybe gaining more and more weight. And eventually after high school, when you kind of were alone and kind of on your own, that's when things got a little bit worse, and you had like an alcohol and marijuana sort of dependency. And then came the point where what was the point where you decided to lose weight? But first, to clarify, was everything I just said correct with your story?
Yeah, it was correct. And I was going to also add on, even the people that I used to surround myself with would cause me a lot of issues because they used to be in that like situation with the alcohol and the recreational marijuana. So it was hard to avoid. And it's like I had to make my own circle by myself, being alone. So that took a toll on me as well.
Yeah.
It's trying to like kind of trying to develop and grow, but taking the hits of life.
So, were you overweight most of your life?
Yeah, I've been overweight most all my life.
Okay, yeah. I can relate to your story of what you're saying already, because I was bullied pretty much most of my life, actually, whatever way, shape, or form that might be. Just because I've always been a different kid, I'm a different person. I think differently than everybody, and I was chubby most of my life too. It wasn't my adulthood when I started to gain more weight, and I reached a total of 285 pounds that I weighed myself, and I had like a lot of stretch marks. Like I look like worse than a pregnant woman, like like honestly. And so that really affected me a lot, like mentally. It's like, holy shit, like all of a sudden like your skin's basically perfect, and then I looked down one day because I don't know about you, man, but like when you're in the state of unconsciousness where you gain that weight, you almost like neglect to really look at yourself and really notice yourself. Do you relate to that at all?
Yeah, I relate to that. It's like, let's just say you're in public or anything like that with your friends, and you know that you feel that you are bigger, but you don't feel it until you really look yourself in the mirror.
Yeah, exactly.
I always thought I was like, to me, the spiritual feeling of myself within was just like, I'm this big macho dude, like very like comfortable within my own skin. But then I was like, am I really comfortable with myself when I look at myself in the mirror, just like go wash my hands or something like that, and just look at myself for like 2 minutes, just be like, is this what I really, really want? Is this who I want to be? And then it's like we almost like neglect it. We just don't think about it. We just keep going on with our lives and just like think it's okay, whatever. But then, but it really bothers us deep down.
Yeah, exactly. And for me, I think the big moment was well, there's a couple of moments when I really noticed that I gained weight and reached that point. I don't remember in what order. Oh, actually, I do remember the order. I had tried doing this workout program. I don't know if you're familiar with Insanity. Like it's kind of
Oh,
like
the
Yeah, it's kind of like
Yeah.
P90X. I tried doing that because my friend gave it to me on a USB, and it was like day one. So I took a before picture and I weighed myself, and I was like 285, and I was like, holy shit, like this, like there's no way I can be 285. Like the last time I weighed myself, I was like 200 or something like that. So it's like, and then the second time was when I was working at Papa John's, my last year of college, and I just like, I don't know, I just looked down at my belly one day. Like I just never looked at myself in the mirror, and I never looked at myself. Like I never looked at my body, and I just noticed that I had stretch marks, and it was like a nightmare. I was like, holy shit, like my body's ruined. Like I can totally relate to how pregnant women and mothers like feel that way, like their body's ruined. Um, but to me, it's now I look at it, it's just like tattoos of my progression, right? It just shows the journey that I went through.
I call it scars of your progression. It's
Yeah.
just because they stay with you.
Yeah. Do you have many stretch marks at all?
Yeah, I do. I have a lot of them.
Yeah.
Well, I was, see, like you were 285. I used to weigh 460 pounds.
Yeah.
So I was very on the heavy side. Like I
Yeah.
was to the point like I couldn't even go upstairs. I couldn't even tie my own shoes. Had a hard time breathing. Had really bad sleep apnea. Like would literally stop breathing in the middle of the night, like for a long periods of time. Um, some days I don't even know how I was still here.
Oh wow. Yeah. Did you have a lot of other health problems? Like were you medicated for anything? Do you or did you have like any sort of health conditions that
No, I was pretty safe for some odd
yeah.
reason. Like it was like almost I just got it in time.
Yeah.
Like I just caught it in time before it was gonna go to that point
Uh,
to have like diabetes and all those high blood pressure problems and all those
yeah.
typical like obese problems that you really see in the world of the medical field now.
Yeah. What's interesting to me is it's also kind of cool how we both share the similarity of having stretch marks. I also see a lot of people who have reached a significant amount of weight and they don't have as many stretch marks as I did. Like even if they reach like 400 or 500 pounds or more, like they don't. I've seen people who don't have that like as much stretch marks. So it's kind of interesting. Everybody's different. Depends on how your skin adapts, I guess. But when you lose the weight, then you have loose skin, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's what I'm experiencing now. A lot of loose skin.
Yeah, and yeah, that's to be a
Mhm.
given, right? That's just the
Yeah.
way it is. Some of it can like tighten back up to a certain extent, but you know, if you want to get the surgery, you can. If not, whatever. Like I showed you at the gym the other day. There's the guy obese to beast. He is just all about just not giving a shit and just embracing his loose skin, which I admire. I think it's good to just not give a shit about that. But I also see the opposite side where you were saying you were saying how like you worked hard and you feel like you deserve that surgery.
Yeah, I do. Like I feel like I understand his concept. Like I'm proud of that guy for believing in what he believes in. But like see, I had everybody has different beliefs. See, like me, if I want to be in the Mr. Olympia competition, it's something that I have to get rid of because it's not gonna work. And plus with that, I would feel as not as bad. I would feel like my body is where it's supposed to be, like all the loose skin and everything, where's everything supposed to be
Mhm.
symmetrically what I would be
Yeah,
if I was never overweight.
yeah, exactly. So now let's jump right into it, man. Like, so what was that point? What was that push that the universe gave you to make that change and begin losing the weight and change your life? Like, what was it and when was it?
That change would have been about 5 years ago now. That's when it really hit me.
Mm.
I remember getting my driver's license renewed and seeing the picture. And I actually still have the old driver's license and seeing how my face, how overweight I was in my face. compared to the new driver's license I got not too long ago. Um, that breaking point where everything happened was after quitting my job at Circle K and just get trying to get back on tracks little by little. I was just working at Marshlands for just as a car parts job, and I find even then the stress was just as much as those other jobs. So it was harder for me to start losing the weight. But after 2 years, I think it really hit me after a relationship that I had with, and then it really struck me into my core to really focus on myself and my self-esteem and self-care. And after that, there was one night I was really depressed. Um, I kept seeing this movie, this like these TikToks about a certain movie, and something just kept hitting me in the face, like, watch this movie. Like there's something about it that was trying to change. So, anyways, the movie was the 300 Spartans with
Yeah.
like with it's about the Battle of Thermopylae and everything, like the Spartans. So with that being said, um I was actually eating on this table that I'm sitting here right now, um a, a whole cheesecake. And then during this movie, I used to be able to eat like the whole cheesecake no problem because I was that depressed. But that during the movie, I didn't even touch it. I never even touched it once. Something caught my attention that decided to, why do I want this? And just seeing like the leadership, the honor, the respect, and the discipline of these men, and to their leader, because he was a caring person. He wanted everything the best for his men. And seeing how the dictator, the other opponent, the Persians, and so King Xerxes, how he was treating his people like just a very dictatorship, treating them poorly. Like if you wouldn't take orders, you get your head chopped off, like type of deal. So what during this movie, I kept watching it. I never even threw it. I took that cheesecake and I threw it out because to me that was like, what? And then at the end of the movie, I'll remember this till the day I die. So at the end, if everybody knows or read or watched the movie or anything, at the end, King Leonidas and his army, his 300 Spartans, are mostly defeated. And at the end, the Persian king Xerxes is making him bow down and for him to give up. And as his one of his soldiers, I think it's Sergios, the soldier, as he's dying, he says to him, and I'll remember this. Um, he says, "It was an honor to have died by your side." And then Leonidas responded, "It was an honor to have lived at yours." And that just struck me to the core. It really like it hit me right dead on in the face. So that night, after I watched that movie, it was maybe 3 in the morning. I decided, I went downstairs, looked myself in the mirror. I said, I had enough. This is no more. No more. This is the mentality. This is the way I want to live my life, the way of the Spartan. So that's why, because a lot of you, if you see on my Facebook and everything, I have the Spartan Lambda, the Spartan warrior, because that's who I am. That's what the fire is inside. So since then, I started the journey going to the gym. I was having a hard time with the dieting, so I had help from a lady. Her name's Amanda. She actually owns a bakery. It's called Better Bakery off of Milner Road.
I just want to say before we talk about
Yeah.
Amanda, that that's amazing that movie just lit something up inside of you. and you were able to just not even eat that cheesecake. And in fact, you threw it out during that movie. And it's just mind blowing and fascinating how sometimes all we need is just something to speak to us in a certain way that can kind of show us our true path and our true calling and help us step into the best version of ourselves, which is already there. We kind of just have to start living as it. So to me, it sounds like that moment is when you started living as that because you realized it. You realize your full potential. So, anyways, you can go ahead and continue talking about your friend Amanda.
Yeah, so like I was saying, my friend Amanda, she my mom knew her. I'm not sure how, but anyways, she has this bakery. It's called Better Bakery, but she was also doing like nutrition therapy. And I remember being there my first day and I was very like afraid and everything. And like I've seen many like health professionals, nutritionists, and like
We
people
have
that
a we have a viewer that's joining, so just this might be interesting. Do you know the Nicole?
yeah, it's my mom.
Oh, it's your mom. Okay, well, she's gonna listen. It just makes the podcast extra interesting now. Hi, Nicole. If you have any questions, you can put them in the chat. Is there a chat? There must be a chat. We're gonna. Why can't I
Yeah,
see it? Oh yeah, there's
there's a
there it
chat.
is. My screen was minimized. Okay, so if you have a question, you can type it in the chat and we'll answer it. Anyway, sorry to interrupt your story about Amanda again. Go ahead and finish it.
So like yeah, so anyways, I remember going there the first day, and I was very nervous. I didn't know what to expect. And like I said, I went through a lot of people to try to help me and motivate me to eat better in certain ways. And just with, I find the diets that they were giving me was almost like boring. It didn't fit me. It just didn't do like the whole like plain rice and like the vegetables and the chicken like every single meal. To me, it was like it was more of like a diet. It wasn't like a lifestyle. So with Amanda, she does like the whole keto Genesis diet.
Yeah.
And so I found that really helped me because I was starting to have better memory. Everything was starting to become more clear. I was doing better. I had more energy. Like I was, and plus, if I was having issues or anything like that, she was really there to listen and help me out with certain things. So with her help, I was able to drop 150 pounds.
That's awesome, man. And are you still doing the keto diet or are you
No, I changed it up. I'm still with Amanda,
yeah,
because she still sees me and measures me and everything just to make
yeah.
sure I'm progressing. But no, I changed to recently to almost like it's almost like I don't really want to put a label to it, but it's like kind of like anabolic, but without like the gluten and the and those type of things, like staying away from refined carbs and some simple carbs,
So you're just
like the
sticking
simple sugars and stuff, like staying away from the junk and more on the natural side.
you're just sticking to whole foods and stuff.
Whole
Like,
whole foods, yeah.
yeah, one of the first things that people ask me when they ask how I lost weight is they kind of want to know what I ate or what kind of exercise program I did. So I kind of just tell them like I went through every diet. I myself tried, I was vegan for a while. I did the carnivore, I did keto diet, and then eventually it's kind of funny, it just taught me how there's benefits to each food and really life's kind of all about balance and choosing food from sources that are from like are man-made from our hearts, not from factories where they only have one goal in mind, which is money, which usually in turn ends up affecting our health negatively.
Like I try to get the best whole foods possible, but sometimes it's hard with
Yeah.
cost of living and expenses and budget. And you have to try your best. That's all you can do, and seek for the deals in the stores and stuff. I know like certain like I don't know like chicken and I'm not worried about chicken and mostly like pork because in Canada it's illegal to use like any antibiotic like those antibiotics and stuff like that, or
Yeah.
any of those like preservatives.
Yeah.
but I know for beef it's a little bit different. But I try to stick to the more leaner meats like chicken, turkey, eggs. Yeah,
Yeah,
because I need to still have that protein source for me to build muscles when I go
exactly.
to the gym. So, I like I tried, and for me to be vegan is very difficult because
Mhm.
I was brought up into a family that eat a lot of meat,
Yeah,
so it's like it's very hard. And for me, I think that was the best option, just to eat meat and eat whole foods like vegetables, fruits, and anything like that. Even like sometimes I have like the protein powder, whatever, but more like a cleaner protein powder,
yeah.
something closer to natural sweetener like stevia
Hmm.
videos. And I started seeing Arnold more, and like the motivation that Arnold had for bodybuilding, and then like to me and seeing how like the Mr. Olympia was and everything, I was like, I want to do that. I want to show to my inner self, my inner child, and my inner spirit that, and that I can do that. A place that I've never been before and people have never seen achieved. Like
Exactly.
it's to do it for myself first of
Yeah,
all, but it's to people that always put me down to prove that this big guy did it.
exactly. There's a lot of people who, if you're at the weight of, you said you're around 450, who, if a lot of people just stay at that weight, or they'll progress and they'll be like that for the rest of their life until they die.
Right.
So even for you just to lose 150 pounds already is like a huge accomplishment. But I definitely see your path and where you're going. And I know and I believe that if you hold that in your mind, that you will accomplish it. Because as I kind of mentioned to you before, like each day you're in the gym, like you're living what you decided for yourself. So when you decide to become Mr. Olympia, then you're going to start to act as Mr. Olympia, which is going to be doing the things that Mr. Olympia does, like go to the gym and stay consistent with your, mindset, your diet, and your exercise.
And Pete, it's funny that you say that too, because I get a lot of people when you're not around ask me, like, I see you here every single day training your butt off. And they ask me why are you training so hard? I'm like, if you want to become Mr. Olympia, you have to train like Mr. Olympia.
That's awesome. I love that.
It's kind of like a quote that I like. It's like be like a duck, stay calm at the surface, but beneath the surface, paddle vigorously.
Yeah, love that, man. And did you decide to become Mr. Olympia when you had already been going to the gym for a bit, or was this just?
It took To me, I can't like put my mind when it happened. I think it's when I seen the movie, it was the physique, and
Yeah,
seeing how like Arnold had that physique, and all these like bodybuilders had all this like almost like this crazy physique that like nobody you would like my friends I don't even would even have like this, like it's crazy.
yeah.
And to me it was like that was like, man, I want to look like that. Like to me that would be like the feel good, like I feel
Mhm.
good and with like on the outside, and also I want to feel good within as well.
Exactly. And maybe just looking like that is like a representation of how you feel
Yeah,
within.
is because the thing is, it's like I want people to know that have or
Mm.
are in my shoes, that anything's possible. That being 460 pounds to Mr. Olympia is possible, making the impossible possible.
Exactly, man. And I see you doing that. And, I think that's amazing. It gives me inspiration to just continue my own goals that I have in my own life. So you go to school for nutrition.
Yep. I'm at the Canadian School of Natural Nutrition. Um, I think just starting that school, I was one of I remember the first day I walked into a class of only women, and I was the only male student, and I was very skeptical because I wouldn't know what to expect. I didn't know how this class was going to go, but as time progressed, um, I very became comfortable with them. I was able to share my thoughts, express my feelings and emotions without being judged, showing more vulnerability, because I was a very like, it was almost like that toxic masculinity, like as we see like on social media, the whole like men have to bottle their emotions, you can't show emotion and stuff like that. To me, I was like, wow, it's like no wonder it's like the mental illness is so high. It's because there's nobody, like there's nothing wrong with showing your emotions. It's like you're you're being you. We're all human beings. Doesn't matter.
Exactly.
And to me, that class, they accepted me with like open arms, and the energy in that class was amazing. So that's why I like going there every day, because there's always something new to learn, things that I didn't even know I could learn. I was just like mind blown.
Yeah, that's awesome. When did you start that program?
I started in September.
Okay, so just a new little venture. When does it end?
Uh, Sadly, April 2023.
Awesome. So what do you
Yeah.
plan to do with the program once you're done?
Uh, I'm not sure yet. I still have some ideas. I know the ideas that I had written in my journal, like in my journal and stuff. I have to start doing them. Like I've started writing down stuff that I want to do, like in the entrepreneur world, because there's a lot of ideas that I have for to make a better, like with supplements and stuff to help people.
Mm. Yeah, that's awesome. We'll keep writing them down because I know for myself, I've written stuff down and it's just been like, I don't know how this is going to happen, but it's going to happen somehow. And eventually things line up and you meet the right people and you go to the right places and you see the right things that lead you to your destination.
Even just the goals too, like goals that I want to achieve. Like I did do like the whole Brave New Way and the Brave New You with Chris and Ricky and Alain, and like even that changed me a lot to for who I am now, just with their coaching and guidance.
Absolutely. Yeah. For me, I've invested in coaches and a lot of books and programs and stuff. And it's really helped me become the person I am today. And, it just helps kind of grow yourself. You're investing in yourself when you do that. You're investing in yourself with the nutrition program and the coaching and stuff. And that's actually one thing, if I was going to ask you a question, what advice would you have for somebody who wants to start their weight loss journey? And I think this kind of goes without saying, just while we're on the topic, is invest in yourself.
I was gonna say whatever it is that you want to do it now,
Yeah.
because time is short. It's almost like the way I see time is, do you ever see those hourglasses? It's almost like the sand
Yeah.
glass.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like once you tip that over, all those lost grains of sand is time being pushed away, waiting for you to make your goals. And for me, that was like, man, I have to do this now, because you don't know when your time's going to come, and you want to do it now and live your best moments. And something I've heard from Denzel Washington was a speech that he said that really triggered me to my core was, um what do you want to live with the ghost of regret at your funeral? What kind of ghost do you want to be around your casket when you die?
Mm.
There, it's the ideas that you had, that it's like we came to you in that time for you to make us, to bring us to life. It's like now we go to the grave with you, in the grave of regret.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's actually ancient Stoic philosophy.
Yeah.
Is they would envision their funeral, envision their death, so that they could become and remind themselves to become the best version of themselves.
Yeah, he said it's similar to something like that, but it really reasoned
Yeah.
with me, like it really triggered me, because it was like, who's gonna be, how many ghosts do you want to be at your casket? How many of ghosts of regret? And to me, it was like none. It's like the only ghost is me. That's it.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
it's
I
so
like that.
what I say to people that want to start this journey is to do it now, because there's no turning back.
What if they don't have the motivation? How do you think they'll get the motivation if somebody doesn't have any?
The motivation, I'll be honest with you, the motivation is almost like a fire. The motivation is like the fire, and motivation will burn out if you don't keep feeding the fire, because the motivation is self-discipline that keeps feeding the fire. It's the wood of the fire. As long as you keep putting more wood, more self-discipline into that fire, it's going to keep burning and burning and burning and burning. And that's what made me lose the 150 pounds. It wasn't because of the motivation. Yes, it helped, but it was the self-discipline that put me there, said, okay, this is what I got to do. The self-discipline is kicking in. This is what's making me go to the gym every single day and not miss it. Waking up every day, I got to go to gym. I got to eat this. I got to do this. I got to do this today. That's what the self-discipline is to make sure that you persevere all your goals.
Exactly. I would say that's the biggest key takeaway too. For myself, I would add, just remember your why. If you don't have the
Yeah.
motivation, just you have to find a reason why and give yourself a greater purpose. And
Yeah.
for you choosing to become Mr. Olympia
Yeah.
and working towards that, that's your why, that's your purpose. That
Yeah.
well, among many others, I'm sure you have. But that's gonna be what drives you, and that's gonna be the fuel to kind of keep you moving forward. For me, it was lots of different reasons. I just wanted to feel good. I want to help other people. I have a fascination with becoming the best possible version of myself and constantly growing and improving on everything, and just seeing how far I can push those limits.
You have to
Other
push the limits.
Yeah. And other things that help me build self-discipline and motivation is cold exposure training. So ice baths, cold showers and stuff. Because each time you go in there, there's this hesitation that happens, and you kind of, most of us stop ourselves from going into the cold water in our whole lives. You know, we're kind of just taught to put on a sweater, or, you know, turn up the heat, or avoid the cold, avoid discomfort. But as soon as you start deliberately putting yourselves in things that are uncomfortable, whether it's a cold shower, just putting on your shoes to go to the gym, that trains that muscle in your brain, that willpower muscle, to make it that much easier. So when you break through that hesitation of yourself trying to stop yourself, next time it just becomes that much easier to break through that door.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, cold showers is a big benefit. Like the amount of amounts of benefits that it has for cold showers, for circulation and muscle growth and everything. And people, like, I take hot showers, and then as soon as I'm done my hot shower, I turn it to cold and I go to coldest point possible. But I take my time. I just don't put it right away, because you'll send your body into a crazy shock. But just slowly at a time, put it colder, colder, and really feel the cold, and let it, and you might feel like a little bit of like hyperventilating, but just kind of breathe and breathe out slowly, and it'll go away. Trust me, it does help a lot.
Absolutely, yeah. It has such great benefits. And yeah, for me, another big thing for my weight loss journey was really working on my inner self, and, you know, working on healing my inner child and my emotional baggage, and what was causing me to emotionally eat and stuff like that. And do you find for yourself that is also what helped you to lose weight too?
Yeah, I can relate to that. I was a big emotional eater, binge eater, like, you name it, I had it. Like, I was overweight as a child, and I was bullied most of my life. So my whole self-esteem was so low, to the point that food was the only comfort. Food was only the friend that never told you you're fatty, you're this and that. And like, food never told me that. It was the food that was a comfort. And that's the thing, you have to break the cycle.
Yeah.
Breaking the cycle of the comfort food. It is tough, but it's not easy. But the thing is, I find with a lot of mental illness, one thing that particular people miss is with food is sugar, refined sugar.
Yeah.
Refined sugar reacts just as much as cocaine in your brain.
Yeah.
And I remember eating a lot of sugar, and when I eat a lot of sugar, I get brain fog. I get confused. I'm like lost. I don't know where I'm at. Like very like almost disoriented. But I went through like a whole sugar detox and more just eating like natural during keto. And man, the energy I had, no more brain fog. I could concentrate in school, and I was told that I had ADHD, and I just really didn't care about it because they tried to put me on medication and just made it worse. But then as soon as I started changing my diet, all those problems went away. I still have some issues like at school to concentrate, but it's because that could be from improper sleep, could be from anything you eat, like anything you eat, sleep, um, like hydration, it all matters.
Absolutely, man. You know what? I was diagnosed with ADHD, bipolar, Tourette's, OCD, anxiety, depression. I was on medication for 5 or 6 years of my life for that. And as soon as I started changing my diet and exercising and working on healing the gut, I got off all those medications and I don't exhibit any of those symptoms anymore for those
Yeah,
diagnoses.
it's crazy the amount of changes you can have with exercise, like even disease, like cancer. I have no friend that's cancer free, and he started exercising during cancer, and he doesn't have cancer. And he just, because what it is, cancer is only, it's just abnormal cells. And a
Yeah.
lot of it, and what does cancer like? Sugar.
Yeah.
And that's what feeds cancer. And a lot of people don't know that, like the sugar you put in your coffee, sugar you put in this, the sugar that you eat, it's not, it's too like a minimum. Like you can still enjoy it. Like sometimes I'd enjoy it, but I just try to stay away as much as possible and just kind of alter for more natural sugar, uh like like stevia or fruits, just like those types, instead of eating the refined chemical based sugars.
Yeah, exactly. Finding those substitutes.
Yeah.
So do you feel like if one didn't work on their inner self, that it would be more difficult to achieve weight loss? Like I in fact would almost deem it to be impossible if you don't work on your inner self and your old wounds and
Hmm.
your inner child and any trauma that you have. Like, I think it's going to be so hard to lose weight because that's what caused weight gain to begin with, at least for me. And I know a lot of other people. So if you
Yeah.
work on that, weight loss becomes much easier.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that too, because that is a big part, is to heal the body, mind, and spirit. Is to really heal that spirit of yours, because the inner self is what is you. And I find if you don't heal that, like self-care wise, you won't feel good doing all these things. But as you heal and go to the gym, do little things for yourself, you'll notice that you're healing your inner self within, with taking action.
Absolutely. And I felt the same with going to the gym and changing my diet and doing the cold therapy it also brings up things within to work on and heal up,
Like
grow stronger.
any little thing that you can do for yourself to benefit yourself, like any like health or wellness, like spiritually, like meditation, yoga, like anything like that will just make a tremendous effect on your inner self.
Absolutely, man. Does for sure. Before we end this today, is there anything you want to leave the audience with? Any message, any advice?
I wanted to leave them with one thing I've also heard from Denzel, is that really struck me a little bit, was to get something you never had, you have to do something you never did.
Exactly. I love that.
And that really hit me in the face as well. And just, I recommend watching more, like listening to podcasts, like very motivational podcasts that really helped me a lot. Reading books, like reading good books. Like I'm actually currently reading, still currently reading The Way of the Superior Man. it doesn't sound like what it is. It's about like the whole 50-50 trend about the masculine energy, the feminine energy, and how it was started and how it is progressing to now, and how to become a better version of yourself, and with yourself and your partner. There is also a few more books I have in mind, like The Power of Now. Reading books, just watching really good, like, do a lot of research. I find that really helps on certain things, because me, like, Google is probably the best asset to have for research on what your specific goals are. Like, if there's something that's you want to do, or something that's like, oh, I want to do this, look at Google, read books, videos, like, to a certain extent. Like, you can't really believe everything people say on YouTube, but make sure like the research is 100%.
Yeah, exactly. And so just basically to sum it up, just invest in yourself, like we talked about
Yeah,
before, and you know, buy a program, buy a book, listen to podcasts, go on YouTube, anything to nourish your mind. Because when you
yeah,
nourish your mind, you nourish your body and you nourish your spirit.
yeah. Investing in within yourself, and to make your outer self better,
Exactly.
nourishing your inner self, because I find that really was a big part of me to make me go where I had to go.
Absolutely.
And even just like, so you're able to find the desire, the ability, and the need to get there, and to have the reasons that where you want to go.
Absolutely, man. Well, thanks so much for coming on and sharing your story. You know, it really inspires me to continue with my own journey, as I mentioned before. And I'm sure this will inspire whoever listens to make a change in their life, whether it's to lose weight or achieve any goal in their life.
Yeah, for sure. I greatly appreciate this conversation we had.
Yeah.
We really got into depth. I find that even we could probably go more into depth, but we try to put more information there for all the listeners and viewers.
Yeah, exactly. I'm looking forward to see you at the gym and seeing your progress. And yeah, super exciting, super inspiring, man. Keep up the good work.
Yeah, man. I will see you at the gym for sure. I'm there quite often, so
Mike is there every time I go, and I go at random hours, so I feel like he's there 24/7.
pretty much am there. I haven't had a day off in about 2 weeks, so
That's awesome. Well, as long as you're eating well and getting the proper rest, it's good.
yep.